Here we go. Positive energy all the time. Good to see you all. Rep your city. Rep your city. Rep your city. I am representing Chicago, Illinois, sometime notoriously known as Chirac. Good to see everybody on Facebook, both of my Facebook accounts, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Let's get it going. Rep your city, rep your city, rep your city, rep your city. Well, I got some news I got to straighten out. There's some false information going on. We have Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the building. I have a lot of fond memories of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I had a queen up there. She was a very beautiful young lady. And rest in peace to her. She passed away. I hope her sons are doing fine. If you're still watching, or one of her sons was watching, let me know. So I spent some time up in Milwaukee with the Queen, Sasha. So rest in peace to Sister Sasha. I used to go up every weekend and sell liquor because liquor was illegal on Sunday. And it was one of those times where I was a little off my square. We got Lumberton in the building. Good to see you, Olin. I hope you're doing fine, brother. Haven't talked to you in a while. B. Dolo, what's going on? I'm up ready to get it going. Up and ready to get it going. I tell you. There's some news coming out of Chicago. I just want to clear up. People are saying that ICE is grabbing foundational Black Americans. This is not true. This is false. No, they wasn't grabbing Black Americans over, and that was false information. They did escort some Black Americans out of a building. Right? Good to see you, Gail. But I'm going to tell you what that was really all about. I'm going to tell you why they were cuffed and escorted out, right? And why they were held. And this is coming straight from the facts. on what that was really all about. Okay, it's false information you got. I'm here in Chicago. ICE is not harassing foundational Black Americans. They're not looking for foundational Black Americans. They are looking for immigrants that are here illegally. And that's the facts. If you lived in Chicago, you would know almost 2 million people here, like 1.7, 1.8 million. And to attempt to apprehend foundational Black Americans would be a disaster. It would disrupt the economy and it would lead to a lot of lawsuits. You know, it'd be a waste of money, time, and energy. So don't believe that. I've got the facts on that. And I'm going to share the facts with you. Yes, Black Americans were taken out of a building. That is true. And held. How does ICE know where to go? Well, the illegal immigrants got cards, and people are calling in. People are calling, and people are reporting them. Also, it's impossible to hide. I mean, you got to go to the store. You got to drive around in a car. You got to come outside. So it is impossible for you to hide. Mostly when you move somewhere, you're like in groups. And they get tips. A lot of white Americans and a lot of foundational Black Americans call police on them, call ICE on them. If I lived here and let's say over there across the street, there was a bunch of illegal migrants over there, Venezuelans, I would call ICE. And I don't believe in snitching, but I would call ICE on them. Yeah. Oh, ICE? Yeah, this is Pharaoh El-Aton. And there's a bunch of them across the street in the building. Go get them. Yeah, I'd call on them. Sure would. Yeah, I'd call on them. For sure. They've been here. There's been some intermingling with some of the Venezuelans, with some of the brothers and sisters in the neighborhoods. They haven't had any real serious problems, a couple little problems. Uh, Over around the O Block area, they call them the VDs. But there hasn't been no serious problems as of yet. But there is the idea that if their numbers grow, they'll start flexing. They'll start flexing, and that'll cause a problem. So nobody wants their numbers to grow and end up with a gang war between the black gangs in Chicago and the Venezuelan gangs. We don't, some little scrimmages, but we don't really have problems with the Mexican gangs. We've been here together too long. As far as foundational Black Americans protesting, there's not that many people protesting except Hispanic people and different groups that put themselves together. White Americans are not really protesting like that. And so those protests over by the ICE facility, that's just professional protesters. That's not that many people. And so Olin, in a big city like this, they'll show that and people will think that's not a legitimate protest. If you had a concert and that them people came, your concert would be a flop. It's not that many people. It's a couple of professional protesters, but in a big city like that, that's not that many people. The Mexicans have a big population and they protest. They can get some pretty good rallies, but a lot of people that come from Mexicans that come from Indiana, Mexicans that come from Michigan, Mexicans that come from Wisconsin, right? So they could, but the Mexicans were kind of protesting because they have their events and it's disturbing their events when they're grabbing the illegal Mexicans. And so that's where most of the protests is with the Mexicans. It's a huge Mexican American community in Chicago, and they're protesting. Black Americans wouldn't protest because we feel like illegal Mexicans are coming here, and the Mexicans are trying to stack the board where we won't be able to win any elections. So we feel like it's a way to cheat the elections by bringing in a bunch of illegal people, turning them into voters, and then voting us out of all our positions. So that's not popular. Right now, when we have mayoral election, it'd be like 8 black candidates, maybe one white, and just one Hispanic run for mayor. But if you let them stack and bring in a bunch of illegals, uh, then it would be really hard to get anything going. You said they're very anti-reparations. The only problem with reparations is that black Americans aren't pushing it. So the main reason reparations not going nowhere because foundational black Americans are not pushing reparations. So the other groups have nothing to do with why we're not getting reparations. Reparations is not being pushed by foundational black Americans. Not at all. So that's why the reparations movement is weak. That's a self-hate and lack of self-motivation and because foundational black Americans, they'll start saying, we Native Americans, and, you just make it with Moors, Muslim. And so foundational black Americans will make up excuses to be separated from the rest. They'll make up a lineage. They'll make up anything to self-destruct any type of movement. So that's basically self-hate is what's stopping reparations. I'm Native American and all type of weirdo stuff. So that's the problem. The problem with Foundation of Black Americans is we don't have a physical force to make certain black groups offer they can't refuse, basically. Get down or lay down type of thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how I would handle it. If you was black and you was trying to get reparations, we'd pay you a visit. You know, basically. So that's the problem with that. We don't have our own force to stop people from going against the grain. So any black man, he could just go against. It's almost like it's funny. It's like something wrong with them. Oh, they trying to do something. They trying to start a group to go to the left. Let's go to the right. And they'll just intentionally make up a group to go to the right. And you have groups that's afraid of their loss of power if they join anything else. So they want to stay separatist groups with their religions and their, you know, stuff like that. But that's the biggest problem with reparations. Hispanics is not a problem when it comes to reparations. When it comes to getting what you want, the problem is you getting what you want. Nobody really can stop you if you want to get what you want. Foundation of Black Americans don't want reparations, not as a whole. It's just, to me, it's relatively few of us, comparatively speaking. But we'll get it there. But uh, it's a little hard. Like a lot of black men are professional separatists. They do it. They just love to do it. They just love to be separated. They love it. I mean, no matter what you do, they're gonna make up something else. I mean, I can't even count the amount of time Moors have jumped into my business on my social media account uh, with whatever their belief is. I'm not really trolling them. I don't. They'll troll me. I'm trying to push some information, and they come, no, brother, and I'll be like, the internet. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't do that in real life. I wouldn't throw no reparations meeting with a bunch of people. You wouldn't come there. You wouldn't come there with that. You would not come with no opposition when we trying to do something. You would be advised to go to wherever your belief system is. You would be advised to go over there. Don't bring your negative, satanic opposition self over here, because at that point you were insurgent. But with the situation in Chicago, I just wanted to talk about it because people are saying ISIS attacking black Americans and they handcuffed them and they took them out of the building. Okay, let me tell you what really happened. I did my research. I talked to people. Okay, this is what happened. There was some very dangerous Venezuelans over on the east side of Chicago in a building. There were foundational Black Americans lived there too. But what they don't tell you, it was more. It was a lot of Venezuelan gang members in that building. And these gang members, you have like two sets. You have the ones just in the streets, then you have the real foundation of the gang members. Now, this gang was created in the Venezuelan penitentiary system. After so long, the president of Venezuela made gang members the guards of the prison. So he made the gang members guard the gang members in the prison. So the whole prison became this gang. Then he kicked them out and forced them to leave the country, and they came up here. They're also in a couple of other South and Central American countries. Their tactics is brutal. Torture is kind of unbelievable. I don't even think I could tell you what they do. And they have made it to the United States. Now, the media, the Donald Trump administration, they have to play it smart. They can't tell you, they don't want to tell Americans how dangerous these people are. So they're trying to clean it up without alarming the public. So when you hear that they came with a helicopter, a military helicopter, and dropped them on the roof, it wasn't because they was trying to invade the Black community. These dudes is like evil, almost South American paramilitary gang. This is not no gang to play with. I got the information straight from the horse's mouth. I'm in the city. So when they went in there, the reason they cuffed all the Black people up just was to get them out of there. They ain't got time to be trying to ask you to leave because they was expecting a gun battle with this Venezuelan gang. So the reason they grabbed the Blacks and cuffed them and tied them together and brought the kids with no clothes on and stuff, because it was a 911. It wasn't no time to get dressed, because when they came in, they had to come in like paramilitary. They couldn't give no warning. So if you went there with your kids asleep and they finna storm the building, they got to wake you up. You got to leave however you are, naked or whatever. You have to get out now, because there's possibilities of explosives in the building and all that. So the media didn't tell the truth. The reason the Blacks were grabbed like that and taken outside with no clothes on and all that, it was a 911. It was a 911. They was expecting the worst with this gang. Okay? Now, there's a video of his Black sister telling the whole story. It's all over in there. Go look for yourself. She's telling it. It was a 911. So it wasn't they just grabbed Black people and took them outside. They had to empty the building of people that wasn't in the gang. And that's why they went in there and tore the building up and ransacked the building. And the reason they tore the building up, because they pissed at the landlord letting them be in there. So they like, the hell with your building. Because whoever got that building is going to be in a lot of trouble. Because you basically harboring terrorists. They let them go, but they never grabbed them to apprehend them. They grabbed them to get them out of harm's way. Ain't no put no clothes on. Ain't no get dressed. They hit the building, out. They grab you, out. Then they attack the gang. Ain't no orderly escort you out. No. They getting you out of there as if it's a bomb threat, which it is with this group. So they ain't had time to get the blacks out of there in no decent manner. Well, of course, America's not used to paramilitary situations. So to them, it's like, oh man, Black Americans and white Americans, a lot of them, you're not used to this. This is international paramilitary stuff. This is why they had to bring in the FBI and everybody with ICE. These dudes is, man, listen, their torture tactics, I can't repeat what that tell you. I cannot repeat to you what they do to people. On my soul. So for a lot of Foundation for Black Americans, you just know the little shorties, Venezuelan gang members. You don't know the leadership and the real dangerous ones that was in that building. And that building was full of them. And they say that it was more of that gang in the building than it was Foundational Black Americans. It was full of these Venezuelan terrorists, basically. Dangerous. These are dangerous people. These ain't people that function like America. These is people functioning like guerrilla criminals, the worst guerrilla criminals in the jungles, like down in South and Central America. It's just not. So when they say, oh, people drove by and they just seen the kids outside with no clothes on. And they was like, oh man, but if you don't got time to put no clothes on. If you're a woman and you got a nightgown and see-through, hey man, we seen titties before. You got to go outside. Because when they find out you storming the building, they could do anything to the building. So now they had to storm the building, get them and get you out. Like storm the building, get you out, get them simultaneously. So they got a group running. Look, they knew where all the blacks was at. They had thoroughly looked at this building. This was a high-tech, like top military expedition, exercise. So they knew where the blacks was at. They knew where they was at. So you go in with like 6 groups, 2 groups to get the blacks out, 4 groups to go and get ready to go to war with these dudes. And it's got to happen at the same time. At the same time we kicking their doors, you got to be outside. And we only got seconds. So we ain't got time to be knocking on your door. We kicking your door in. You black, you out. When you out at the same time, they kicking the door in, grabbing the terrorists. That's what happened. They ain't had time to explain to the Black Americans what's going on. Because if they spend too much time, that'll allow the gang to get ready. And they can't allow them to get ready. So they got to kick your door and they door at the same time. And while they running in them to get you, they got to snatch your black ass and they got to take you out. Clothes or no clothes. It wasn't, the internet didn't know Because imagine I'm driving by, I see ICE, I see black kids outside with no clothes on. So they reported it right. Because you like, oh, they bogus, man. They got the babies with no clothes on. So it was the truth from the perspective of the people that seen it. To the people that seen it, they don't know all this. So they look out, see babies and women with no clothes on. And so they was like, oh man, ICE ran there and grabbed people, man, and pull them out with the babies outside with no clothes on. See what I'm saying? Because they don't know. So the story was right. Yeah, it looked bogus because they grabbed everybody and put you outside. It looked foul. It happened right here in Chicago. I'm giving you the word from outside on the street. It happened right over there on 75th Street over on South Shore. This the building. They didn't really put them in the neighborhoods like that. They everywhere, Lady Lioness. They didn't really put them anywhere, Lady Lioness. It was a situation where they didn't put him there. It was a situation where Trump was in office. You had Holman working with Obama, cleaning up the country. Barack Obama was putting them in cage. They was getting them out. Trump was building the wall. He lost. Biden got in there. Biden just stopped building the wall. Biden was old and senile. So Biden only was coming from 10 to 2, couldn't do nothing. So now the wall's not finished. Biden's not putting the money down there that Trump was putting down there. So they running across. They storming Texas. So Abbott's down there and the whole southern border is just full of illegal migrants. Abbott's know that Biden is a Democrat. Abbott, like, y'all just gonna leave them down here and leave this as a problem with Texas. So he started putting them on buses and busing them to Chicago, to the Democratic city, to try to get their attention there. Hey, right? So Abbott put them on buses, sent them to Chicago, sent them to New York, sent them to Washington, D.C., even sent them to Biden's city, which he was right to do that because they wasn't going to move with him down there because Biden was too old to do the job. Right? So they get here. So now they stuck with him. So now the mayor of Chicago is putting them on. When the buses pull up, the mayor find out. So they start having a tip line. Every time the buses come up from Texas, the police will come and make the buses go back to Texas with the migrant. Abbott started putting them on airplanes. They landed in Midway. They landed in O'Hare. So we ended up with migrants everywhere, all in the police station everywhere. So now they're trying to figure out what to do with these migrants. Mind you, only the FBI know what's going on. Everybody else thinking they Mexicans, or people don't even know who they are. Only the FBI know that this is this group from Venezuela that the Venezuelans sent up here. So now the FBI is contacting Venezuela to get the records on Venezuela and America's enemy. So Venezuela say, we're not giving you no information. So Venezuela wouldn't give the agencies the information, the FBI, all of the government agencies, police agencies, the FBI wouldn't give them these dudes records, so you don't know who. Right? No, they wasn't trying to get a foothold in Chicago. They got sent here, and they just was here. Everywhere they go, they gonna get a foothold. But it's not like they said, let's go to Chicago and get a foothold. Biden sent them here and didn't know who, Abbott sent them here and Biden wasn't no good. Biden got in there and should have, this is the problem with American politics. If Obama's throwing them out, then Trump come on and build a wall. Even if you beat Trump, change some policies, but keep building the wall. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Well, the Democrats got in there with Biden and just stopped building the wall, left all the materials there and all that. They should have kept building the wall. So now the guy in Venezuela kicked them out. And they came up here. They was playing commercials in Venezuela. Come to America. The Venezuelan government was doing that. Along with other industries. That's a whole nother thing. They plan to go down there and take it anyway. Okay? Because the American government going to take Venezuela. That's why the warship's down. I don't want to get into that part, but let's just get into the basics. So Texas get overran, so he put them on buses to try to bring awareness. What y'all gonna do? That's when the mayor of New York got pissed and said, Biden, what you gonna do? Where's the money? Because Biden never even sent the cities any money to do nothing about it. Biden was one of the worst presidents in the U.S. history. He was too old. He didn't do nothing but sleep and fall down. So he sent no money to Chicago, no money to New York, nothing. He just let all them people come up here from Texas and just left the city with that. Now all our budgets is messed up because of Joe Biden. So now Trump getting in there trying to do the same thing him and Obama was doing and hired Obama's boy to get him out. Now you got to understand, Tom is not the enemy of foundational Black Americans. This man is not going to attack us. Now, if I find out I'm wrong, I'll come back and say I was wrong. But from my judgment, Tom Homan has no intentions on hurting foundational Black Americans. Okay? It was Barack Obama that gave him his first big move in life. And he's forever in debt to Barack. This man is not going to attack us. It's not going to happen. He's not going to attack foundational Black Americans. It's not going to happen. Homan is not going to attack foundational Black Americans. This is my belief. If I find out I'm wrong, I say, dang, he let me down. But Homan is trying to get him out of here. Because they are a serious threat. And they are such a threat, they cannot tell the Americans. This is what's going on, y'all. You have a threat that they cannot tell. They do not want to tell you what's really going on. They don't want to tell you. What's really going on. It's a fact. The Venezuelan gang known as Tren Aragua has expanded into a transnational criminal organization operating across Latin America and more recently into the United States. The gang's spread has been fueled by Venezuela's economic collapse and the ensuing migration of over 7.7 million people. Rise of Tren Aragua. Origin. The gang emerged over a decade ago from the Tocoron prison in Venezuela, Aragua state. That's why they trendy Aragua, where its leader controlled the prison environment. Expansion. It began exploiting vulnerable Venezuelan migrants after the country's economy collapsed. As the migration crisis deepened, the gang followed migrant routes and established operations in other countries. International hubs. Trinidad has established significant criminal operations in countries such as Colombia, Peru, Chile, and Ecuador. In these countries, it engages in human smuggling, sex trafficking, extortion, and contract unaliving. Activities in the United States, operating model. In the U.S., the gang operates as a loose network of individuals or small cells, not as a highly centralized or organized network like traditional gangs. Affiliates, often youths who fled Venezuela's poverty, use the gang name to set up new criminal enterprises independently. Low skill crime. A declassified April 2025 memo from U.S. intelligence officials stated the gang's focus is on lower skill criminal activities, making it unlikely to coordinate large scale human trafficking or smuggling. Criminal allegations. U.S. authorities have arrested alleged members for crimes including assault, home invasion, carjacking, trafficking, robbery, and involvement in shootings. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials have launched investigations in Trinidad activities in numerous states. Government and political response. In 2025, U.S. government actions have increased scrutiny and enforcement against the gang. Terrorist designation. On January 20, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order allowing for a designation of cartels and gangs, including Trinidad as foreign terrorist organizations. Increased enforcement. Citing the FTO designation, the U.S. has conducted raids and increased enforcement against alleged gang members, including raids in cities like Chicago. In March 2025, the Trump administration ordered the deportation of alleged members under the Alien Enemies Act, but the order faced legal challenges. Deferring assessments. While federal authorities have amplified rhetoric about the gang's threat, an April 2025 intelligence memo suggested its U.S. presence was smaller than officials claim. It also contradicted assertions that Venezuela's government was directing the gang's activity in the United States. Let me tell you something. This is why they wanted to build Alligator Alcatraz and ship people. They wanted to ship them not back to South America where they can get stronger. They want to ship them and totally cripple their power. So they want to ship them to like Africa. They want to put them in the Everglades in Florida. They don't want to put them back into a place where they can build. Abbott is doing the siege. He have to. He have to. These people is dangerous. Trust me what I'm telling you. And they're using the shorties to come in and establish. And then they'll send leadership. So this is why they're trying to break them now with the group that's here now. One of my subscribers and brethren, Pazzi, when he came up, he wanted to go to Bongo Beach and see the drums. So when I took him and his wife and children to see the drums, it was packed with Venezuelans. I could tell they was Venezuelans because they wasn't moving like Mexicans. And it was very I don't want to use the word primitive, but primal. They was jumping in the water where nobody swim at, where it's rocks under there. And I never forget, right to my right, like right here, there was a dude and his woman. And the dude was definitely from that gang because he just was mean mugging. He was mean mugging so much that how did I put this? I was there with Posy, but I wanted to get at him. You know what I'm saying? He was there with such a cruel look on his face at this black beach. You know what I mean? That's why they got to get him out of here, because then people like me will make some calls and then, it'll go bad. You know what I mean? And this ain't no dude we would be able to fight. This is on the next level. You could tell. His face was all cut up and he looked brutal. You could tell what he probably do to his wife, one of them type. Like his wife, she just sat there and didn't move. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a really, really mean, cruel dude. Well, he was messing with my PTSD because you on my turf. See, I ain't like him on my turf like that. I really wanted to handle that, but I was being a host to one of my subscribers and followers, and that's now a friend, and him and his family and his children. So I had to, and there was a bunch of them out there. And when we first got there, before we got over there where they was at, we ran into two brothers because we wanted to see the drums. And the brothers, like, they done came, took over our beach. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And the brothers didn't like they had took over the beach. And they was over the whole Bongo Beach. They took it over. So about a month later, I went back and there wasn't none. Because I'm thinking the whole time, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that, they done took over the beach. So when I went out there, I'm expecting to see them. When I got out there, it wasn't none, nowhere. I said, where did they go? All them hundreds of people was gone. It was hundreds of them, and they was gone. The beach was back black. I was like, see what I'm saying? Where the hell was they? They had their cars all up on the grass and everything where nobody be, and it was like a third world country. The whole beach was like a third world country. This what happens when too many people come from somewhere. They'll ruin your country. They'll turn your country into their country. And it was like a third world country. But when I went back, they was gone. And so after seeing them out there and seeing them out there, I was kind of not, and even still, I'm not, and this is why they got to get them out of here, because that's not going to mix it. That's not going to mix in Chicago. That's not going to work here. That's going to go bad for them here. Because I know they from down there and all that, but they ain't never been nowhere like this, though. Just like they foreign to us, we foreign to them. I don't know nothing about this. This is they unorganized crime. This is very organized crime. And they would have had no wins here. And so the government's doing a good job getting them out of here because they already know. They already know. And then the government feel like if we get loose, they don't treat no blacks like dirt up here in Chicago. They don't play with us. There ain't been no playing with us up here. None. I talk to everybody. They ain't playing with the GDs, the BDs, the Blackstone, none of the vice lords, none of the four corner hustles, and they getting done real dirty by the Latin Kings. The Latin Kings already been at them because the Latin Kings feel the most threatened. Yeah, in their country, yeah. Right? So that's what happened. They had to run in here. They had to hurry up and get the blacks out. You see, they done wrote all on the door and everything. They establishing it. So they had to run in there, get the blacks out, and grab them dudes. That's why they tore the building up like that. They tore the building up because the building is in violation. That's how they look at it. Are you housing them? So whoever is the person that's letting them in there, right? They in a lot of trouble. Facts. Whoever let them in there is in a lot of trouble. Juicy J, this has nothing to do with the politicians. Police, I don't trust none of them boys there. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think you've been paying attention to what I'm saying. So that's what's going on. They had to come in with like a Fed-like move to get them and save the blacks. They had to get the blacks out of there because the whole building was under threat of something bad happening. So when you see they grabbed the blacks and took them out with no clothes on, it was just like, say it's like a fire. It was treated just like it's a fire that's burning right now. So ain't had no time to be polite or anything. And under those circumstances, they're not going to explain nothing to you. They're going to treat you real bad. They're going to be like, get out, because it's a 911. They might end up going to war in this building with this gang. You understand? A war could have kicked off up in there, so they got the blacks out of there. People drove by, seen the black kids out with no clothes on, and thought the worst. I mean, this just happened, so how they gonna do all that, Ola? It just happened. That's not the people that'll give them a stipend. You gotta understand, Ola, the people that's doing this the military type ICE police. This is not the other government that do the funding and stuff. This is basically an international military raid. They ain't gonna be dealing with them people till next week. It's Saturday or Sunday. It's the weekend. Because those type of operation, Olin, is like last second. Okay? They watching it, and when they say go, 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 that's what it, so it's not gonna be able to plan nothing. So those blacks there have to get taken care of on the back end. The main thing was to get them out of there. They don't know if it's explosives in the building or nothing. And the people don't know what happened to the black people, Olin. They don't know what happened to them. They might already be somewhere safe. Nobody don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving y'all the reason why it was a 911 situation. It wasn't no situation they could have did in no kind of decent way. That was impossible. It would be totally impossible to do that in a decent way. Because then you would be warning the terrorists. Like if I'm in this building right now and there's terrorists in here, they ain't got time to warn me, because warning me is warning the terrorists. They gonna come out here. They probably gonna cuff me and take me out because they don't want to argue with me. They're not going to argue with you. They got to get you out the fastest way. And what's the fastest way to get you out? Cuff you and just get you out of here. They ain't got time to explain it. What y'all doing? Well, I'm in here. Because now if I'm saying that, what if the terrorist is next door or upstairs and they hear that? So you got to raid these people and get these people out simultaneously. You can't give no warning. And you don't know when you're going to go. Because you might just be going when a certain group get back. So say the main dudes is gone for 2 or 3 days. We got somebody watching. Then we're like, shh, they back. And they jump in the helicopters. And bam. No warning, no nothing. So they did not mistreat the Black Americans. The Black Americans was in danger by being there in a raid like this, because these people will blow the building up. These ain't no Americans. These are some South Americans that live by a different rule. These ain't no American gangs. This is something different. That's why they came with the helicopters. That's why it had to be done paramilitary. Well, Americans don't understand because they think everything is American. So they wanted it to be done the American way. They don't understand this was international. At that particular time, that building was not America. At that time, that building might as well have been Iraq, Iran, or something. At that time, that building is a foreign country. Got to be treated like situation in a foreign country. That's why they did it. I just want to let everybody know what we found out in Chicago. All of Chicago are knowing about 2 or 3 days. I'm telling you, fresh off the presses. The information I'm telling you is only about, what time is it? 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. This information has come from only 12 hours old. This information I'm giving y'all ain't even a day old yet. This is fresh off the presses. But there is a sister, got a video up. She telling the whole thing. She said, no, they didn't mistreat the blacks. This was a serious situation. They had to get them out of there. Well, if they down there and they got to deal with the Mexican cartels, they the same. But down there, they say they're more brutal because they say that they torture is more brutal. This is what the experts are saying. Chicago gangs clash with Venezuelan trendy Aragua members. Blacks against migrants. Venezuelan migrants moving into Chicago's South Side had caught the attention of the city's gangs, with some fearing an impending turf war between local gangs and their Venezuelan counterparts. When the black gangs here get fed up with the illegalities and criminal activity of these migrants or non-citizens, the city of Chicago is going to go up in flames. And there will be nothing the National Guard or government can do about it when the bloodshed hits the streets. It'll be blacks against migrants. Tyrone Muhammad, a former Chicago gangster who did 20 years in prison and now runs a violence prevention program, said in a report for the New York Post. The comments come as Chicago has seen an influx of Venezuelan migrants, according to the report, including members of the notorious trendy Aragua gang. With their arrival has come a rise in crime, locals told the New York Post, while some Venezuelan gangsters have started to encroach on the territory of the city's local gangs. There's been a lot going on with the migrant gangs that nobody's even hearing about. Zach Massey, a local Chicago gang member, told the New York Post. They've been moving in our territory and robbing people, but they don't get arrested like we do. I actually talked to of the translator, one on that translator app. He told me all the things he got going on, how they helped him get a car, an apartment, EBT car, all this stuff. They giving them thousands. We get maybe 400 a month, and they don't even have social security numbers. Sources from Chicago gangs told the New York Post that members of the Venezuelan gang are often heavily armed and have begun spilling into areas traditionally controlled by local gangs. Local gang member Corey Rogers told the New York Post that Venezuelan gangsters will often be seen showing the flag and slang term for brandishing their firearms. He also showed the outlet text threads that feature local gang members threatening turf wars with the newcomer gangsters. What bothers me is that the Venezuelans are united, Rogers said. The black gangs are too divided and they take each other down. Others share concerns about the possibility of increased violence, telling the New York Post that things had actually improved in the city before the influx of the migrants. It's still violent down here, but it's calmed down a lot. One gang member told the outlet, back in the day, we'd get shot if we went over there. It calmed down a lot. The last thing we need are the Venezuelans. The Chicago Police Department did not immediately respond to Fox News' digital request for comments. You understand? So you got to understand that when you get these gangs, right, in the city with a lot of old gang members that's not involved, and a lot of black revolutionaries like Black Panthers and all that, and a lot of like mix of gangsters and revolutionaries, them people, you know, it'll go bad for them. So this is why they got to get them out of here, more so for our response than for them. Because the feds and them fear our response. If we turn up like that, they don't know if they'll be able to turn us back down. And if we turn up and they extremely violent, then guess what we got to do? We got to go, right? And then will you be able to, after we wipe them out, what will we be like? So this is why they like, we got to get them out of here. Because they got no wins because they too far from their backup. See, when they in South and Central America, they got troops can come up. But you way up in Chicago, it's a long way to Texas, buddy. And you ain't got no way to get no backup up here. So you're going to lose. You understand? You got no wins because we surrounded with lots of help. St. Louis, Detroit, Milwaukee. They'll get did dirty. The government know this. But the government just don't want the city to go up like that. It'll go up ugly. Because they babies, but we got gangsters all the way 70. People like me coming outside. Real professionals. Them dudes ain't no match for me and my... Listen, they not no match. If we got to come outside. then they can't go to jail because they don't run the county jail. None. So they're going to get knocked back before they get in there, and they ain't got no backup. You're not nowhere close to South or Central America. You're a long way away from home, buddy. So the Trump administration know this, so they like, we got to get them out of there. They got to understand the Irish, the Italians, the Chinese, they all going to ride with us. The Mexicans going to ride with us. The Mexicans not going to ride with them. The Latin Kings are not going to ride with us. Nobody's going to ride with them. And then the regular Black Americans, it'll be bad for them because it won't be the gangs against them. It'll be Black Americans against them. And they don't got enough people. They don't got enough people to go at Black Americans, not in Chicago. They wouldn't even be able to come outside. They wouldn't be able to go to they wouldn't be able to come outside. That's a fact. So anybody try to act like it's anything, even you ain't been to Chicago. They don't got no numbers like this whole South Side is Black and the whole West Side is Black. Them just a few dudes in some cracks and crevices. Over there where they at, they surrounded by thousands of Blacks over there, over east. That anybody know Chicago could tell you. They is totally surrounded. They would have to go and take big old aircrafts and fly back thousands of people to go to war. Them little handful of dudes. Come on, man. Because we knocking down the big man. They big man get knocked down, and the little one's going to be scared. They not like that. So I'm glad the government is going in there and stopping us from having to do it. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Mexico. It's all Black all the way to Harvey, okay? People coming from Harvey, Calumet City, Maywood, Riverdale. Boy, I can't even name all the South suburbs. You're not going to war with Chicago. You're going to be going to war with Cook County, boy. It's the Cook County jail, ain't the Chicago jail. If they got to go to war here, all the Mexicans will wear Mexican colors so they wouldn't get mixed up with them. I swear to God. Everybody would make sure they distinguish themselves from there. It'll go ugly. They in the lineage of like the backwoods. We in the lineage of Al Capone, Bugs Moran, and stuff like that. We on some whole other, you know what I'm saying? So they got to get them out of here. They know what it is. You know what I'm saying? They got to get them out of here to go bad. And they ain't beat on their chest yet because it ain't no Black person complained yet that got us upset. Y'all watch the news. Have y'all seen a news story that'll get us upset with them yet? No. Name a news story with Foundation of Black Americans in Chicago with them people that would get us upset. It ain't happened, and it ain't gonna happen. That's on everything. So I'm glad the government going in there to get them out of here to just, keep everything from going up. Because if it go up, how you gonna get it back down? And see, as far as white America is scared, they really scared of that Black unity. They know if these dudes push these Blacks gonna unite. And then once these Blacks unite and get rid of these dudes, they're gonna be a problem for us. This is how white America look at it. Don't unite these Blacks in Chicago. Because if you unite these Blacks in Chicago, They're going to unite in LA. They're going to unite in California. They're going to unite in New York. They're going to unite everywhere. And they're like the Africans and the Jamaicans and them going to ride with the Black Americans when it get hot. All the black people going to ride with us if it get crazy, which is shout out to the Congo. I talked to two brothers from the Congo earlier today. I should have videoed them. They was at the bank. They was talking a language. I was like, where y'all from? Hey, we from the Congo. I said, man, y'all supposed to be rich. Some people over there stealing y'all natural resources. Y'all supposed to be billionaires. They said, we wish, my brother, we wish. Much love, my brother. I said, yeah, much love, brothers. They was cool. There was some two Congolese brothers. They gonna ride with us. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't trying to push no war, none, because there ain't gonna be no war. Because, you know, Tom gonna get them out of here. But I just didn't want y'all to think that black people had got mistreated by ICE. ICE not really bothering us like that. I'm gonna tell you the facts. ICE not really bothering us in Chicago. They not. They go into them Hispanic neighborhoods and trying to find illegals. They not really bothering us. They not. They looking for illegals. If they grab you, they're gonna ask you for your information. And once they see you ain't from the Caribbean or you ain't from Africa, they gonna let you go. But if you ain't no American citizen and they grab you, you going bye-bye. If you ain't legal. Why do you think this action was taken now at the building? Because no, they don't. Stop coming over here with false information, bro. Y'all don't listen to the Juicy J guy. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. Let me tell you something. They took the action now because they got the tip. They got the tip they was there, XYZ. They doing that everywhere. They got the tip, and that's why they did it. They did it because they found out they was there. That's why they did it. Because they got the tip. There's no special reason they did it. They found out they was there. It probably took them 6 weeks, 2 months to do the reconnaissance. You know, they got to see who lived there, what's going on. Is there explosives in the building? You can't just run up in there. Right? So this what's going on. You see ICE in here hitting. Before ICE came here, they had been here watching for 3 months. They listen. They're not going to come watch you dress like ICE. They're going to have black Americans. If you're in a black neighborhood, they're going to have a black American ICE agent, FBI agent that look like he live over there watching you. And they're going to watch you, and they're going to take pictures, and they're going to send pictures. And by the time they come, if you go back, there's a board somewhere with all them dudes' pictures up. Every time they went to the store, everything. Y'all don't watch detective pictures? There's a board with that building with every one of them dudes' faces up on the board. And then they wait and they watch you until it's time to hit. By the time they sent ICE heavy to Chicago, they had dots on the map already. Then we're going to be like this. When we hit somebody, everybody going to run, right? So let's say this is one house and this is the other dudes. We're not going to hit this one. We're going to hit this one. So the little ones run. So the one they hit is the one going to make all the other mice start running. But they already got surveillance. And when you start running, they're going to grab you because now you ain't going to be in your stronghold. So they're going to grab a whole bunch of them in the next week because they're going to start running around like mice. And they already got them already stationed. They're already watching them. Look, man, even when you hustling and you go to court, when they pull the evidence up on you, it'll blow your mind. Listen, y'all, even the regular police and detectives, when they bust you for hustling or whatever, and they pull the evidence on you, they've been watching the hell out of you. You thinking they just came and got you Thursday, they started watching you last week. No, they've been watching you for months. They got all the time in the world. For them to come with a helicopter on the roof and drop me in and run in there, they've been watching that place for months. You pull the soldiers out and you leave the watchers. They thinking it's sweet. No ICE agents ain't here. You be like, ICE is in, they'll say, ICE is in California. ICE is in California. So you in Chicago, you in Philadelphia, you think ICE is in California. But no, I'm ICE. I'm watching you. Because ICE could be one person. You know what I'm saying? ICE don't got to be a bunch of people. ICE could be one person. And get all the information, put it all in, go back to the meeting, so how we can hit them. Well, he always come in at 5. They come in like this. They knew they was there. They knew when everybody come in and everything. They knew where all the black people was at and everything. They knew where everybody was at in that building. They could fly over your building and they could see every one of y'all. And they've been doing that. I was in California in the 80s. And they would come with the helicopter, with the what we call it, the ghetto bird. And when that helicopter would fly, they had that heat-seeking stuff, and they could see your body in your crib, and they could hear you. And when the helicopter used to come, when I lived in Compton and when I lived in South Central, we would turn the reggae up real loud because they could hear you talking and everything. Ain't no joke. When they come, they've been watching that building. They've been in that building already. That guy that came in that building that they didn't know, that looked like he was some janitor or some Amazon worker. That wasn't no Amazon. That wasn't no janitor. That was the feds, boy. Because ICE work with the FBI. They don't be understanding that. The FBI working with ICE, okay? The Federal Bureau of what? Investigation. It ain't the Federal Bureau of Arrest. It's the Federal Bureau of watching you. So they already got a bunch of them lined up. You know how many doors they kicked in that didn't make the news? When they ran in that building, you know how many doors they kicked at that same time? If any of them dudes was on the phone with anybody, all them doors got kicked in that didn't make the news. You think getting a big network. ICE is not an arm of the FBI. ICE is ICE, but the FBI work with them. So it's like this, XYZ. If ICE is watching me and I got guns and stuff like that, the FBI gonna be watching me. If I got drugs and stuff like that, the DEA gonna be watching too. And so it's multiple. You ever heard the term multiple agencies? Not only that, the CIA is watching you. The CIA is watching you. Right? The CIA is watching you too. Yep. Because they're international. So the CIA watching them, the CIA watching them, the FBI is watching them, the DEA is watching them, ICE is watching them, the police is watching them, the sheriffs, multiple agencies. I remember when I got arrested, man, I was in Harvey. I was sitting in the basement. A dude came downstairs. He had a jacket on. It said DEA. He made sure I seen it. Walked past me, did something, went back upstairs. About 20 minutes later, a dude come downstairs, jacket say FBI. Walked past me, walked upstairs. He made sure I seen him. About 20, 30 minutes later, somebody came upstairs with a jacket. It said ATF. Swear to God. They just wanted me to see him. DEA, FBI, ATF. They took turns. They made sure they had their alphabets on. The ATF is involved with this too. Any weapons, ATF is involved. You crossing state line, FBI is involved. You from another country, CIA is involved. You doing selling drugs, DEA. So they got everybody watching now. ICE, DEA, ATF, FBI, everybody. And you a threat. You're a threat because you're foreign. You're a foreign country. And so you're an international criminal. You're a big, big threat. And this immigration stuff is a big, big threat when you start talking about crime, because now you talk about international crime. They're not taking that for no joke. So don't y'all listen to Black Americans talking crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. This ain't no joke. This ain't no joke. All them people ran across that border, no joke. They got to get them people out of here. A lot of the people that be protesting for them is on their side. Spies for the other side, trying to look like normal people. They all in on the smuggling and everything. We forgot human trafficking. They doing all that. Organ. I don't think the average American understands I don't think the average American understands everything involved with these international crime families. In Mexico, to come from the other country, you got to give up a kidney. You know that, right? If you're coming from El Salvador, Nicaragua, one of them, you want to pass through Mexico, through the Mexican cartels, you got to give up a kidney, right? Did y'all know that? You got to give up a kidney. Look. You see? You see they all cut? You see they took their kidneys? Boy, look. To pass through Mexico from another country, you got to give up a kidney. Did y'all know that? Y'all don't know how brutal it is down there. Y'all don't know. It's super, super brutal. So it's like, if you're a foundation of Black America and you get into the drug gang and you doing little ounces and stuff like that, right? All right, you on some Black American stuff, American stuff. Then you get up to quarter keys and stuff. You still gonna be on some Black American stuff. But when you start getting up to kilos, now you on some cartel shit. You dealing with some different, okay? You in a whole different caliber of crime, association, and all of that. You're not dealing with the little guys that's getting stuff that live in the neighborhood who's selling it to each other. Now you're dealing with international crime because the birds is coming in international. And now that you move up and you copping international product, and you around a whole different level of crime and violence. So once you get up to where I was at and higher, it's a whole nother level of violence. It's not the on the block violence. And nobody starts any mess with you when you plug with a group like that, when you a crew like that. Nobody nobody steps on anybody in the crew feet when the reputation get down that you with this particular crew on this level. You have no problem. And when you get to that level, gangs is over with. Your gang is, because when you get to that level, all the gangs is there. So all the gangs is getting the weight. When you get to that level, BDs, GDs, everybody's copping. Everybody know each other up there. Those are low-level soldiers gang banging. When you get up to the top of the drug gang, there ain't no gangs. That's your friends is Latin Kings, BD, you know what I'm saying? You international because everything coming in internationally. And now the people that's bringing in these truckloads, you can't play with them. You have to be quiet. You have to be with your family. You can't be all out in the street, because you're making a lot of noise and you attract the police. And then you go back around them. You're bringing the police to them. So you can't be You can't be running around no more. And so the places we go, the gang chiefs is all there. You out there, BDGD Warren. I go to the spot. Big folks is there. Big BD and Big GD there drinking champagne. Y'all, what y'all doing is not happening at the top because everybody copping from the same people. It's coming in and it's going to him, and him. And they distribute into the whole city and they all know each other. So when they say, Pharaoh, do you know do? I don't have to know nobody. You don't have to know anybody. I'm giving y'all game. Your name, little Peanut, live over on Polk. All I got to do to go to my man and say, hey, man, I'm having a problem with some nigga, his name, little Peanut over on Polk. My man gonna call the big man over there. I'm not in the game, but I used to be. He gonna be like, what up, Big Charlie or whatever. Hey man, my man over here having problem with Peanut over there on live over on Pope. He gonna be like, little Peanut, yeah, that's Marvin G little cousin. Just like that. Hey man, tell dude and them calm down. He messed with my man. I got you. They gonna go to little Peanut and say, you messing with a dude named Pharaoh? All right, dead that. Yeah, dead that. Don't let us have to tell you no more. Just like that. So they could find me. Anybody could find you when you in the web. You could be found. But the first thing they're going to do is dead it. If you insist, you got to go. If you ain't nobody, they be like, yeah, little Peanut, he always tripping. Tell your man he be on 53rd and so-and-so right there. He drive a red so-and-so. He live at so-and-so, so-and-so. They going to tell me where you at, what you drive, your mama house, everything. Because over there where you at, they don't fuck with you. So you got no protection. And you gone. And I don't even got to do it because I'm with these people and I'm 50 or 40 or 50. And then I'm going to ask one of the guys about their little cousin, send their little cousin over there. Yeah, little Momo go over there. Little Momo and Carl and them. You know, and my man gonna call little Momo and Carl and say, hey man, this is dude on little Peanut, and then your ass just gone. They're gonna send some little shorties your age over there. Cause it's all networked. So you did this, so we behave ourselves. We don't be beefing. We don't be starting stuff. Because when you go start something, you starting with something with somebody's connected to somebody, somebody that's connected to your man. And it's a problem. It's an in-house problem. This is how the streets really work. So if you start a lot of shit, you ain't gonna never make no money. They ain't gonna never put you up on no money if you're a troublemaker. But if you want to get money, you cannot be a troublemaker. You have to chill. And so now these Venezuelans is coming here. They affecting business. They in the way. They're not plugged into the network. They got no wins. The Mexicans run this. Venezuelans can't come up here and try to run nothing. The Mexican cartels run this. El Chapo and them run this. Who is you? You cannot come up here and disrupt the networks. Remember? I know y'all might know the history. You know? Them Latin kings ran off with El Chapo stuff, and they sent the four corner hustlers to do something to him. A dude case coming back up now. The one that DMX was crying over. Yeah, that's what happened to dude. Yeah, they ran off with El Chapo stuff. And he sent the foes after them, allegedly. Yeah, Cato, two of them dudes over there at the car wash ran off with El Chapo stuff. And they sent the four corner hustlers to take care of that. Because everybody's plugged in. These was Hispanics sent the foes at Hispanic. You ran off with another Hispanic stuff, so I ain't honoring that Hispanic stuff. That's why they call, in Chicago, that's why they called El Chapo And Chicago public enemy number one. Because this is the stronghold for the whole country. You got California, but California's isolated up and down. But the money is New York, Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, Philadelphia. Name some big cities like that out west. They don't got no whole bunch of big cities like that. Texas is not in the mix because Texas is the original like UPS headquarters. So Texas don't count. So when it go up north, the Midwest, and then all the highways pass through. You know, all the trains used to leave St. Louis, but they moved them to Chicago. So wherever all the trains is at, that's where all the trucks is at. Because the trucks pull up where the train stop, unload the stuff off the train onto the trucks. So if you take 290 or 55 in Chicago, you're going to see all of the trucks. Atlanta's in the south, so there ain't no big distribution like that because they got Miami. They sandwich between Miami and Texas. So it's like it come in, then you got the South, which is good money. But to get the big money, you got to get it up north. And you got to get it somewhere in a center point where you can get it to all the other locations in that Chicago. Right? So let's look at Atlanta and let's look at Chicago. Where I'm at right now, if it ain't no traffic, I can be to Indiana in about 45 minutes. I could leave Indiana, come to Illinois, and be in Wisconsin within an hour 10 minutes, hour 15 at the most. I could be in 3 states. It's the tri-state. I could go to 3 states. From Indiana, boom, I hit the freeway coming in. It's gonna take me. Yeah, then you got Iowa and you got Detroit right there. But I'm talking about right next to each other. I could leave Indiana, boom, I'm coming up the Bishop Ford, boom, it's gonna say Indiana, it's gonna say Wisconsin, it's gonna say the Loop. I hit that, boom, I'm gonna take the damn ride, boom, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna stay on 94, and boom, I'm gonna be in Wisconsin. I'm gonna be in, like, before I get to Milwaukee, I'm in like the other little city, right before you get to the airport. 3 states, just like that. And then everything split off of there, all the trucks and everything. So all the business. That's why Al Capone was so powerful. Because you couldn't do no business because they could put men on the highway and cut you off, cut off your movement. They called 290 the heroin highway. On the west side, y'all know that? Man, they called 290 on the west side. They call that the heroin highway. That's how many whites come from the suburbs and stuff to the west side of Chicago to get heroin. Real talk. I ain't been on the west side in a while, but when I used to go over there, you go to people's houses, lines all down the side of the house to the alley and all down the alley. People lined up to get heroin. Say, how is this? It's weird. And with my boy, they grabbed my boy with some work, and they told him, we'll let you go, but you got to give us somebody. And you know who they wanted him to give up? They wanted to give up some white dudes. They don't want to give up no black dudes. Because if you give up some black dudes, the black dudes going to get busted. They're going to sit in jail. But if you give up some white dudes, their daddy going to come with that big bail money. So they make more money if they bust whites than blacks. The whites don't go to jail, but the whites drop the bread. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? So even though they tell you more blacks go to jail, more whites get busted. But they take their money. So that's why they walk. They make more money off of whites by far. Because they got the money to bail out. They got the money to pay the lawyers. So they keep the system going. So they tell you, we let you go, but you got to get us somebody. Who? Get us some white guys. We're going to sit down there, and when some white guys coming back from you, signal. And so I stay on the west side. I serve some white guys, and when they leave, I signal. And the police pull them over, find the dope, take them to jail. They call their daddy. Daddy, I'm in trouble. He come right down. Whatever the bell is. Pop, pop. They go straight on. Lawyer. Pop, pop. Give them like probation or some supervision or something. Boom, go home. Lock them up, lock them up, lock them up. They come with the cash. Bam, 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 bam. They don't want them to go to jail because they can keep. It's like driving. When I was younger, we used to drive, right? When you used to get 3 tickets, they used to suspend your license, but they was losing money. So I don't suspend your license no more. They don't care if you get 9 tickets. You know what I'm saying? Another ticket. They was losing money. They're like, man, listen, no more of that 3 tickets you lose your license. You can get all the tickets you want. Just pay us or we're going to take your car. Anyway, that's what's going on with that. I hope y'all learned something from that. That's what really happened. They wasn't trying to mistreat the blacks. They was trying to save them blacks. So they had to treat them really bad. Because they had to get them out of there before they raid, because they didn't know if the building, what could happen. If it could be a shootout, bullets coming through walls and stuff. So they ran in. That's why they took the kids out with no clothes on. They ran in. They snatched everybody that wasn't a criminal. Shut up. Let's go. Right? It's real tense. So you think it down, they was mean to you. They wasn't really mean. It's like, let's go, though. They can't explain. They grab the blacks, and they got to cuff you and everything because they can't afford to be explaining. They can't afford you to run off, and they can't afford you to warn the rest of the people in this building. And that's why they busted all the windows out and tore up all the apartments. Because it was full of them. I talked to my friends. People told me it was more Venezuelans in the building than Black Americans. That's what people told me. People told me it was full of them, that it was more of them in there than it was blacks, that they basically had the whole building. That's why look what's wrote on the, look, see what's wrote on the door? They was marking their territory and everything. So for them to write that on the door, you know how many of them was in there. So I just wanted to tell y'all that, so you spread the word too. And there's a black sister that's telling everything. I'll try to find her video and I'll post it on my Instagram. Pharaoh said that. I'll find the sister's video and I'll repost it. But there's a sister telling the whole thing. That's where I got it from. Shout out to that queen. She said, no, they wasn't mistreating us. They had to get us out of there. They had to get our people out of there. It was a 911. It was a very dangerous situation. They didn't know if them people had explosive in the building or nothing. They had no idea. All right, so let everybody know. And ICE is not after us. ICE is not in Chicago to terrorize Black Americans. That's false. They're here looking for illegal immigrants. And go out and have your information. Right? until everything settles down. I have my paper with my official change of name. Michael Dwayne Stewart changed his name to Pharaoh El-Aton on August 11th, 1981. I legally changed my name. I have my birth certificate to show my original name, Michael Dwayne Stewart. Michael Dwayne Stewart changed his name. At the top, Michael Dwayne Stewart changed his name to Pharaoh El-Aton, signed by a judge and sealed. This is the real seal. Okay? So if I go out and I'm moving around, I just put this in my jacket pocket. They pull me up. Come here. What's your name? Another thing is, don't be getting all hyped up. Listen, man. If ICE grab you, police grab you, all that, don't be doing all this. What are you? Don't be doing all that, man. Especially, brother, you're supposed to be a general. Name, rank, and serial number. You got to be calm. Why is you like a scary girl? They go outside, ICE roll up on me, ICE. Sir, get up against the wall. I'm going to get up against the wall. I'm going to get up against the wall. They gonna cuff me. They gonna cuff me. They gonna notice my arms is loose. So they gonna calm down. What's your name, sir? My name Pharaoh El-Aton. I got my ID and stuff right here. They gonna look at my stuff. They gonna look at me. I'm gonna be like this. They're gonna be like, okay, let him go. He ain't on shit. He don't care. You know, if you are, you make them tense. You stressing them. Stop stressing them, man. Stop. Don't be stressing ICE, man. Leave ICE alone. If you know you legal, what is you doing? What is all this extra stuff? This is why people like me, we don't like no brothers in the car because you might not be no G. You're not like me. They pull me over. I don't care. I don't care if they pull me over. They pull me over. Get out the car. I get out the car. I don't care. And when they see you don't care, they know you ain't on nothing. But when you, then they like, see? You hyping them up. Now you going to get me slammed on the ground. They going to slam us both on the ground, bro. What is you doing all that? What is all that? What, you scared? Once they see you scared, they going to treat you like a chicken, like a little B word, boy. They not going to treat you like no general. When you're not scared, they going to treat you just like you one of them. They ain't scared either. So they're like, oh, he ain't scared. He a general. Okay, general, sorry. It ain't nothing, man. I don't care. How many of y'all, I'm the type of person, they take the cuff off. I got a couple questions. How many people y'all grabbed so far today? Yeah, get their ass out of here. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get them out of here. You have a good day, sir. All right, man, I'm straight. Okay, tell everybody don't be pulling over Pharaoh. Yeah, I mean, I don't care what I'm tripping for. Oh, man, you know. Come on, man. They say, sir, we're going to take you to jail. Get in the back of the car and look out the window and chill. Never let them see you sweat, soldier. Never let them see you sweat. The more sometimes people want to make you miserable. So if you act miserable, right up their alley. If you don't act miserable, they're not having no fun. He ain't no fun. He don't even care. Let him go. We looking for somebody. You understand? They looking for somebody they can make miserable. When they pull you over, they can't make you miserable. They not having no fun. They want you to go. Let them go. Let's find somebody we can agitate. Pharaoh ass stupid. He too stupid to know. He too stupid to know we trying to agitate him, bro. I don't care. Hurry up and take me to jail so I could get back home. This is take too long. Let's put these cuffs on and let's get to moving. When they look in the back, I'm looking out the window like I'm going to the mall or I'm going hanging out. When they take me out the car, I'm all loosey-goosey. They take me to the station. By the time they get to the station, they on my side. What do you do? I ain't really do nothing. You won't let him go? Yeah, let him go. He cool. But if you are, even if they know you didn't do nothing, they might just irritate you and hold you longer. This is revolutionary. You gotta be a soldier. Bro, I don't care. Do what you do, and let me hurry up and do what I do. Okay? Hey, do not be getting tense with the police. Chill and act like a soldier. One time I was driving. My queen was pregnant with my last daughter. And we lived in O-Block, and the only store that was open, she was craving all kind of stuff, was a Super Kmart, way out on the other side of Harvey on Halsted. Who remember that Super Kmart? So she up, pregnant. I said, come on, baby, let's go to the store. So I put it in the car. We drive out there. She enjoying it. And a white cop pulled me over. He said, license and insurance. So I give him a license, but my insurance is stuck behind the car, so I can't find it, right? So I'm trying to find it. He's trying to rush me. Do you have it, sir? Do you have it? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for it. So he says to me, because if you ain't got it, it looked like I'm going to have to take you to jail. And I said, oh, no, not jail. He said, if you don't got it, I might have to take you to jail. I said, oh, no, not jail. I did like that. She got insurance. He said, no, that won't be necessary. All right, bro, stop playing. Stop playing. Jail. Ooh. Jail. Punk jail. Don't you know I'm a G? Jail. Hang your britches on the nail, bro. Listen, I don't care nothing about no jail. I've been in every jail. Actually, one time they pulled me over on the freeway, a state trooper. I'm driving the caddy, the Dayton's is shining, the license plate, the car looking good. He drive past me. He get in front of me. He look in the rear view. He pull over. He slow down. He get behind me, and he pull me over for nothing. I had just got out the county jail for 4 months. I've been locked up 4 months. I only been out maybe a week or two. So he pulled me over. Like, dude, license, registration. Okay. You ever been to jail? I said, yeah, I just got out. He let me go. I said, matter of fact, I just got out. I just got out the county jail. I said, there 4 months. Hey, here's your license, sir. Okay, everything looks. I know, punk. Listen. Stop. Okay. Stop trying to scare me. Okay. I don't care. I mean, yeah. When's the last time you've been to jail? I said, well, I just got out. Yeah, you should have seen his face. You should have seen his face. And I was like, what we finna do though? You know what I'm saying? What we finna do? I ain't got nothing. I ain't doing nothing. You just wasting time. You know what I'm saying? He said, okay, well, everything looks all right. I'm sure it does. I didn't say all that. I was like, all right, cool. Always be nice to him because he might be out there again. Pull me over another day. Oh, I pulled you over before. You sure did. Remember? You asked me, I've been to jail. I had just got out. Remember? If I remember, but I don't care nothing about that. So on the side note, y'all, if ICE grab you, so you a soldier. Name, rank, and serial number. And let him do what he got to do. Don't be tensing up. Chill. And just answer the questions. What's your name? My name is Maurice Smith. Where you live? Over here. Where you born? Right here. Because when they pull you over, they tense like this. And if you stay relaxed, this will happen to them. They can't stay tense. So you get a traffic stop. I'm giving y'all game. When the police get out the car, he right here. Your job is to relax so he could turn back into the guy, right? Because he's a police officer. Before that day, before he was a police officer, what was he? He was just a citizen. At home cheering for the Bears or the Giants or somebody. Then he had to go to work. He put on his uniform, became a police officer. He driving, he pull you over. He a police officer, he right here. If you chill, he gonna turn back into just a dude. So you got to talk to him like he a dude. Stop talking to them like they the police. Do not call them officer. Call them man, dude, or something like that, bruh. Your job is to turn them from a police back to a man at work. So you might say, what did I do? He's like, hold on right here. Just leave him alone, man. Let him go sit in the car. What I do, though, don't do all that. You said, what I do? He said, hold on. Just let him go. Chill. Let him go to the car. He going to come back. He going to be then came down some. If you don't look mad, you're going to be like, what I do? You ran through that light back there. Yo, you ran through that stop sign. I'd be like, you lying. He like, no, I'm not lying. Oh, damn, my bad. Oh, damn, for real? Oh, my bad. I must be tired of something. Yeah, it must be. Okay, listen, this was a warning. Why? Because I'm acting like a regular person. I turn him back into a dude. He said, I ran. Okay. Damn, I did. Damn. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Oh, damn. So I talked to him like the guy that I watch football with. I don't be like, officer, I just be like, damn, write me the ticket. He might write me a ticket. Most times he's going to say, I'm going to give you a warning and say, all right, thanks, man, I appreciate it. Be careful. There's crazy people out here. And then I go on, do. But I never, do never tense up. Listen, sisters, brothers, never tense up. If ICE pull you over, FBI, police, never tense up. Relax. Just be a regular person. Turn them back into a person, and they ain't gonna bother you. If you tense up, you turn them more into a police. You turn them more into ICE. You don't want to turn them into ICE. You want to turn them to the guy in the uniform. There's a man in the uniform. You want to turn them back into the man in the uniform. So you got to talk to him like a man. Don't stop talking to him like he ICE, like he the police. Talk to him like another dude. He's a dude at work. So talk to him like a man at work doing his job. It's called de-escalate. And when he don't see no tension and you don't look upset and you're not hostile, you don't look like no criminal. You don't look like no enemy. You look like one of the bros. He ready to let you go. And even if he writes you a ticket, and you be like, thanks, and you be like, all right, man, I got a ticket. I'm going to be careful next time. You still have a good day. Be careful out here. When he go to court, he's not going to stand up. They're gonna throw your case out. He gonna say, oh yeah, I pull that guy over. Yeah, he was cool. You want to take this? Nah. He was cool shit. He was cool. I remember him. He was cool. The other one doing all that, Tish doing all that. You want to come? Hell yeah, I want to come. I remember this motherfucker here. He was talking shit. He was all upset. See what I mean? Chill. Stop. Don't be getting upset with the police. He had to do their work. Chill. And if you chill, you most of the time you ain't gonna get no ticket. You ain't gonna get arrested. Ain't nothing gonna happen. And if you get arrested, chill. Take the cuffs, go to jail. When the sergeant and them see you don't care and you chill, they gonna let you go eventually. They might still charge you with it, but when it's time to go in front of the judge and you've always been chill, they not gonna do you dirty. They not. And ladies or the passenger, shut up. Don't say nothing. You're not the one driving. Be quiet. And when you're driving and the police pull up next to you, so you know how I learned that? And I'm going to let y'all go. One day I was with my father. My father was a bus driver. He was driving. We got off the damn Rhine at like 127th. I think he was going down there to get some food at that chicken place or something like that. So when he got off the freeway, some detectives pulled up on this side of my daddy. And they slowed down, and they was two white dudes, and they was staring at my daddy. My daddy was driving. And the white detective was going, and they slowed down, and they was investigating my daddy in a detective car. But my daddy didn't see him. So he was still talking to me, yeah, boy, and then so, right? So when they seen my daddy didn't see him, they left. So when I peeped that, I used it. So every time I'd be driving and the police would pull up next to me, I would act like I don't see them. So if you're in the car with me and the police pull up next to me, I'll just start talking to you. So what you been doing? Man, I'm just tell you, man, I'll be having a conversation with you. When the police see I'm in this conversation and I'm not paying attention to the police, they drive off. Because they know if you're doing something wrong, you're going to be tense. Never look in the side mirror. Never look back at the police like this. And never freeze up. Just act like my daddy was acting. When I seen that, I said, damn. They seen my daddy didn't see him, which means my daddy ain't doing nothing wrong. And they just drove off. And I took that because I was doing a lot of stuff wrong, right? And I was dirty with guns and all type of stuff, but I would act like him. And it worked every time. Every time it worked. And I taught one of my friends, and one of my friends was in the car, and it worked for him too. He said, man, Pharaoh, I did exactly what you told me. And they was looking at us heavy, and they drove off. He said, I was sitting in the car, my man, we was both dirty as hell. He said, I just started having a conversation with him and laughing and slapping on the steering wheel and stuff. And he said, they drove off. I said, I told you, because they looking for guilt. If they don't see no guilt, you ain't doing nothing. Now that's gang. And you can put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's G-Talk, baby. Victory.